Hello, guys. Welcome to the Fight Live Nation podcast. It's been a while since I did these podcasts, and I wanted to come back. There's not a whole lot that happened in the local scene here in Southern California this past weekend, so I wanted to talk about the upcoming UFC card that's coming on the 21st of May on Saturday. It's going to be headlined by Holm and Ketleyn Vieira. Holm has been in the UFC for quite some time now. Her big claim to fame is she's the first person to knock out Ronda Rousey. She caught her with that head kick in Australia. It was sensational, and that really made her a big star. A lot of people put her high on the pedestal. She was good before she came to the UFC. She had a 33-2-3 boxing record. So that's 33 wins, 2 losses, and 3 draws. That's a really good boxing record. That's also a very established boxing record. You can imagine she was already a little bit on the older side when she came. She had to be after 30 because I think right now she's pushing 40. If she's not 40 now, she's 39, but she's still in great shape. When she first started, I'm looking at her Tapology right here. When she first started, she took on Raquel Pennington. I remember that fight. Raquel looked really good in that fight. But Holm looked just a little bit better, got the decision. It could have gone either way. She went on to fight Marion Renault. I can't remember watching that. I don't think I watched that. But off those 2 fights, she was declared to be Ronda Rousey's next opponent. Ronda Rousey was coming off a devastating KO of Betch Correa. So she was a superstar at the time. She was on Ellen DeGeneres. She was on all the pop TV shows that UFC stars weren't really on. That was her big claim to fame. Everybody always says, why do they push Ronda? Why did they push Ronda? You know, like, I don't get it. And a lot of haters out there, they didn't understand. Ronda went on a lot of mainstream media outlets. You know, she wasn't doing just ESPN and sports outlets and your bloody elbows and your MMA junkies. She was doing like Ellen DeGeneres and Jay Leno and the late night show on CBS. She was doing a lot of different shows. And that's how come she became a star. You know, that's why the UFC really got behind her, and they gave her so many privileges. Ronda Rousey was a star, and when she fought Holm, Holly exposed her. Holly was a counterpuncher in that fight, exposed her for what she was, and was able to head kick her, knock her out. It really made Holm a star. Since that fight, this is something I discovered when I was doing the research. Since that fight, Holm has more losses with 4 than she does with 5 than she does wins with 4. Holm has lost to, directly after that fight, she lost to Miesha Tate. She got choked out. She lost her belt. Then she fought Valentina Shevchenko, and Valentina outpointed her. This was before Shevchenko was a superstar. Then she fought Germaine de Randamie in a fight for a title that didn't exist at the time. It was the start of a division for the 145 division. And the real reason these two fought is they wanted an opponent for Cyborg. They had signed Cyborg. They needed an opponent for her, so they wanted Cyborg to win the title from somebody. So they had de Randamie fight Holm. De Randamie threw a couple dirty shots in the fight, passed the bell. Holm didn't win. And then Germaine actually dropped the belt as soon as the fight was over because she refused to fight Cyborg. So it was a really odd situation, but what really hurt was Holm not winning. That's who they wanted to win. After the de Randamie loss, she went on to face Betch Correa. And this was a great win for her, but Betch is a little bit lesser competition in my opinion. This is a fight where Betch Correa waves her in and then gets head kicked and gets knocked out just like how Rousey got knocked out. After defeating Betch, Holm took on Chris Cyborg. This is a highly anticipated fight. I think people thought it was going to be tons of action, and there's a lot of anticipation for this fight. Turned out to be a little bit boring because Holm, her strategy is always to box from the outside, and it's not really crowd pleasing style. In fact, besides the knockout of Ronda Rousey and besides the knockout of Betch Correa, she really hasn't been in a whole lot of exciting fights. Her style just isn't exciting. And, I would say it's a winning style, but she doesn't have a lot of wins past Ronda Rousey. It's just her style that she likes to fight. So she takes on Cyborg. She loses that one, then comes back, fights Megan Anderson, and wins that fight. Megan's a highly overrated fighter, in my opinion. just a big name who never really had big wins. But she beats her and then goes on to fight Amanda Nunes in another title shot. How does this girl keep getting title shots with this record? She got a title shot after beating Bethe Correia. She got a title shot after beating Megan Anderson. And the worst of them all, she got a title shot after losing to Valentina Shevchenko and Miesha Tate. Go figure. So she faces Amanda Nunes, gets kicked in the next century. You know, Amanda Nunes Holly homed her. You know, she Holly homed. And then she takes some time off. She comes back. She faces Raquel Pennington in a rematch. She wins that fight. And then she fights Irene Aldana, and I'm going to give her full credit for this fight. Irene Aldana was coming off a big win over Ketleyn Vieira, where she knocked her out, and Holly Holm won this fight. She used her boring style of boxing from the outside, and she ended up winning the fight. Since then, she's had multiple canceled bouts, including one against Juliana Pena. She's supposed to face Juliana, and that didn't work out. And I guess that worked out for Juliana because she went on to get the title shot. And then she was supposed to face Norma Dumont, and now she's going to fight. Her last fight against Aldana was in October of 2020. So she's been out of the ring for quite some time. We'll see how that ring rust hurts her or helps her, if it's rest or if it's ring rust. We'll have to see. She's getting a little bit older. It'll be really interesting to see what her performance is like. On the other side of the cage, it's going to be Ketlen Vieira. And Ketlen Vieira is at a different point in her career. I would say right now she's in her prime. She's a prospect, but I wouldn't even call her a prospect because she's had quite a bit of fights in the UFC now. I think she is who she's going to be. She started out her UFC career. She faced a girl named Kelly Facials. I never heard of her. That was in 2016. She went on to fight Ashley Evans Smith, who's a very good competitor, and she ended up beating her. That was a decision. She got a triangle choke over Sarah McMahon. How Sarah McMahon stayed in the UFC for so long, losing so many times, I don't know. But it's a legitimate win because Sarah McMahon is a good wrestler. Triangle choked her. She went on to get a split decision over Kat Zingano, another girl who's been in the UFC for quite some time. I think she opened the women's division as well, way back when. Then she took on Irene Aldana, and that's when she got knocked out. She got knocked out December 2019, and it was vicious. She was red hot at the time. They thought she was going to be the next girl to fight Amanda Nunes, and this really took the steam off of her. And then her next fight, after that loss, she took on Sijara Eubanks. She goes ahead and she gets the decision in that fight. And then she faces Yana Kunitskaya. And in this fight, I just watched this fight. I rewatched it because I remember watching it a while ago, but when it came on, but I didn't remember it. In this fight, it was very close. It was a decision fight. Kunitskaya and Vieira had a close round one. You can score it how you like. Round two, Vieira looked like she was coming on. She took her down, held her down, did great, won the round in my opinion. Round three, Ketlen Vieira takes her down, takes her back, and is really controlling where the fight's taking place. The whole round she controls the fight. But the problem that Ketlen Vieira has is she doesn't inflict a whole lot of damage. And Kunitskaya is throwing these little arm punches behind her head and just tapping her the whole time. And I guess the judges like the volume, but in the last 20 seconds, Kunitskaya reverses positions, and with 20 seconds left, just starts raining down elbows. I mean, she busted up Vieira really bad. This was a bad loss because I think it might have done something to her psyche. Like, hey, I controlled this girl for a whole round, and I lost the round. Like, I don't think this was a good round for her. Coming off that loss, she gets two main events in a row. The first one's going to be against Miesha Tate, and of course the next one's this one. This gets Holly Holm. Against Miesha Tate, the fight was pretty uneventful. I mean, I think even Miesha was coming on towards the end. The first rounds were kind of like feel-out rounds, or at least Miesha made them feel-out rounds. She had a real goofy style. She held her hands out like in an odd posture. I don't know what she was hoping there. But, yeah, Ketlyn ended up taking that fight. She won by unanimous decision. And now she's fighting Holly Holm. So this is two girls in two very different positions in their career. Ketlen Vieira is in her prime. Holly Holm's probably on the way out. You can imagine she's going to fight as long as she wants. She's a big name, can sell tickets. If you put a fight in Albuquerque, she's going to sell it out. If you put her in on any card, you can put her pretty much towards the top. I think it's kind of silly having her main card the event. If you look at this this card, it's kind of a rough one. You really got to be a hardcore fan to like this fight, this fight card. I mean, there's Holm and Ketlyn Vieira, Ponzinibbio and Miesha Pereira. That's a good fight. And then you got Cheating Jakwani versus Dusko Todorovic. Like I said, you got to be a hardcore. Polyana Viana versus Tabitha Ricci. Got to be a hardcore. Eric Anders versus Jung Young Park. Yeah, you got to be a hardcore for that one. I'm not going to go name them all, but I don't see very many names. One of the undercard fights, Chase Hooper. That's pretty exciting prospect coming up. I just think he's too young to be in the UFC. But either way, guys, these are the two fighters that are going to headline the card. My prediction, I really do think Ketlyn Vieira is going to win. Ketlyn has these wins over these veterans of the UFC. She has wins over Miesha Tate. She has wins over Kat Zingano, Sarah McMahon. I think she's going to add Holly Holm to that list. If Holly Holm wins, I can see her getting the next shot. That division is so terrible right now. In women's 135, I can see her getting the next shot at the title against the winner of Nunes versus Juliana Pena. And just imagine if Nunes wins and then wants to fight at 145 and Holly Holm has to sit on the shelf another year. I mean, that division will be in shambles if Nunes wins again, or if Nunes wins the rematch. I think Juliana Pena wins the rematch. That whole division's wide open because I don't think Juliana Pena is the same skill level. I think a lot of the girls can catch up to her, but for some reason she had Amanda Nunes' number. All right, so that's going to be that card. I really look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Who do you guys think is going to win? Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. Normally I talk about the local events and the local fighters here in Southern California. We're big into kickboxing. We're big into MMA. Big into, I really want to get into the boxing scene too. I want to know more about these local guys that are fighting here in Southern California. So we'll be bringing you all that action. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Fight Life Nation. We cover all the fights around the town. We have great pictures. We're trying to get some interviews going up on this channel. I just wanted to get a video out with this new setup. I'll fix the background because the background's kind of bland right now. I'm just trying to make a little man cave to have my studio. That's all I have to say about that, guys. I'll see you next time.